Proteins are very important molecules that are essential for all living organisms. By dry mass, proteins are the largest unit of cells. Proteins are involved in all cell functions, and a different type of protein is devoted to each role with tasks ranging from general cellular support to cell signaling and locomotion. Proteins perform essential functions throughout the human body. Every function in the living cell depends on proteins. Without it, no life could exist. Approximately 18 to 20% of the body is protein. All of the protein within our bodies has a function and none of it gets stored. Fats, on the other hand, does get stored in the form of adipose tissue, as do carbohydrates in the form of glycogen. Proteins are the workhorses of the cell. Virtually everything that goes on inside of cells happens as a result of the actions of proteins. Life as we know it would not exist if there were no proteins. The versatility of proteins arises because of their varied structures. Proteins are species specific, that is, the proteins of one species differ from those of another species. They are also organ specific. For instance, within a single organism, muscle proteins differ from those of the brain and liver. Proteins are vital for the normal function of a cell. Essentially, a protein is a very long chain of individual units called amino acids. Amino acids are the monomers that make up proteins. Each amino acid has the same fundamental structure, which consists of a central carbon, also known as the alpha carbon, bonded to an amino group, NH2, a carboxyl group, COOH, and to a hydrogen atom. Every amino acid also has another atom or group of atoms bonded to the central carbon, known as the radical group. This radical group or side chain gives each amino acid proteins specific characteristics, including size, polarity, and pH. Proteins are macromolecules. Our cells build their own proteins from scratch by linking up amino acids into chains. They are constructed from one or more unbranched chains of amino acids, that is, they are polymers. An average eukaryotic protein contains around 500 amino acids. Some proteins can be quite small. Insulin is 54 amino acids long, and some are enormous. Titin, a muscle protein. The largest to the date is titin, a protein found in skeletal and cardiac muscle. One version contains 34,350 amino acids in a single chain. Titin functions as a molecular spring, which is responsible for the passive elasticity of muscle. Although there are hundreds of amino acids in nature, there are 22 amino acids that are found in human proteins, and of these, only 20 are specified by the Universal Genetic Code. The chemical composition of the side chain determines the characteristics of the amino acid. Amino acids such as valine, methionine, and alanine are nonpolar, while amino acids such as serine and cysteine are polar. The side chains of lysine and arginine are positively charged, so these amino acids are also known as basic amino acids. Proline is an exception to the standard structure of an amino acid because its radical group is linked to the amino group, forming a ring-like structure. The sequence and the number of amino acids ultimately determine the protein's shape, size, and function. Each amino acid is attached to another amino acid by a covalent bond known as a peptide bond. When two amino acids are covalently attached by a peptide bond, the carboxyl group of one amino acid and the amino group of the incoming amino acid combine and release a molecule of water. Any reaction that combines two monomers in a reaction that generates water as one of the products is known as a dehydration reaction. So peptide bond formation is an example of a dehydration reaction. The resulting chain of amino acids is called a polypeptide chain. Although the terms polypeptide and protein are sometimes used interchangeably, a polypeptide is technically any polymer of amino acids, whereas the term protein is used for a polypeptide or polypeptides that have folded properly combined with any additional components needed for proper functioning and is now functional. We categorize amino acids as essential or non-essential based on whether or not an organism can synthesize them. All of the amino acids can be broken down by all organisms. They are, in fact, a source of energy for cells, particularly during times of starvation. There are 5 amino acids that we can get from foods, but we can also make ourselves. These are called non-essential amino acids. Then there are 6 of them that we call conditionally essential because healthy bodies can make them under normal circumstances, but we can't make them in cases like starvation or certain inborn errors of metabolism. Finally, there are 9 of them that we can only get from food. We call these the essential amino acids. Dietary protein provides the essential amino acids that are needed to make our own proteins, hormones, and other protein molecules. Thanks for watching.